Well, hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Computer America Show. This is our pre-show that we're doing here on the program. We have a terrific show planned for you, as always. In the second hour, we'll be doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And then in the first hour, we're going to be talking to the CEO of a company called 500px.
1 minute until showtime.
And if you're into photography, you're going to really like what our guest has to say. We're going to talk to the CEO. Andy Young is going to be joining us for the first hour. Should be a very interesting show. And, if you're looking for, it's 500px is basically, if you're into discovering, sharing, buying, selling, inspiring photography, it's really very cool. And again, we're going to be talking to Andy Young, who is the CEO of the company. So sit back, relax, as we bring to you 2 hours of the Computer America Show, starting in about 30 seconds from now. Okay, also in the second hour, we're going to have an upgrade alert regarding a very important piece of software.
Is it Mozilla?
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's Firefox. All right, here we go.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show about computers and technology. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. It's hump day in the vernacular. We're in the middle of the week, and hopefully all of you are having a wonderful week. And we continue to bring you interesting guests. Steve Stockman on yesterday's show was very interesting, talking about he's the author of How to Shoot Videos that don't suck, and it was a really interesting show. And if you missed that,
a lot of good information. Like you can really tell that he teaches, and not only that, but he actually works as a photographer on a very high level, and a cinematographer, I guess. So
yeah, exactly.
Videographer, cinematographer, whatever it is.
Director.
But no, director. He works at with the best of the best, and he likes to teach what he does. So it's whenever he's on, it's definitely a very good show with a lot of good information.
Yeah, exactly. And certainly we archive all of our shows, and if you missed it, you should catch the archive of the program. And in that spirit, we're talking about digital photography and movies. Our guest for today's show kind of falls within that same purview. In the second hour of the show, of course, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to be talking to a website company called 500px. And they build themselves as the home to everyone's best photos. And it really allows you to showcase your work, just basic. You can even license your photo, amazing photos, and kind of get some inspiration from the website. It's very cool, very different. And we thought we would bring it to your attention. We have the CEO of 500px, Mr. Andy Yang, is going to be joining us here in a few minutes. If you have a comment or question for us, we'd love to hear from you. Pick up the phone, give us a call, 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. If you're radio shy and you don't want to go on the air, but you still have a question for myself or for Ben or for Andy, you can go to our website at ComputerAmerica.com. You'll see first, there's any page there, you'll see the menu bar. The second item from the left says live stream. If you hover over that and go down one, it says submit a question. It'll take you to a question submission page. You can type in anything you like, hit the submit button, and Ben and I will see what your question or comment instantaneously. The other thing that we invite you to do is go to watch our show. We are a radio broadcast, but we also offer live video streaming of Computer America. Again, go to computeramerica.com, any page on the menu bar. The second item from the left on that bar says live stream. You click it. It'll take you instantly to our live video streaming page. You'll join the show already in progress, and you can not only listen to the show, but you can watch the show as well. And you'll be able to see Ben. Ben is on there, and he also has the ability to display websites, movies, video links, that type of thing. He's displaying the 500px website right now, so you'll be able to see all of that. And we just bring it to you. It just makes for a more interactive experience here at computeramerica.com. Hey, look, we're in the 21st century, and things like this should be provided to listeners. We really believe that to be the case. And we do that. So anyhow, we're getting ready to start. No, I'll save that for the second hour. Anything you want to mention before we bring our guest on this hour, Ben?
Anything else I want to mention? No, as Craig put it, check out computeramerica.com. That will have everything that we talk about today. Don't worry about having to remember anything or anything of the sort. Just sit back and relax, enjoy the interview. It should be a really good one, that we have with Andy. And again, stick around for the second hour, because we're gathering news stories as we speak, all about the latest technology news and late breaking things that people are doing. So. No, I think we should just jump into it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. As I mentioned, the name of the website is called 500px. Okay. And it's just the number 500 with a little px after it. And according to them, they are a photo community and marketplace for discovering, sharing, buying, and selling inspiring photography powered by creative people around the world. From mobile photographers to professionals, 500px has the products and features to take your photography to the next level. Here with us today is the CEO of 500px, Andy Yang. Andy, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have you here. So, you heard my introduction, but why don't you, in your own words, kind of tell our listeners what 500px is all about and what it does?
Yeah, sure. So 500px, it's a premier photography community and marketplace with over 8 million registered users around the world, contributing some of the most amazing images found anywhere online. People can upload for free, license their images if they choose to, and brands and agencies can also license these amazing images to showcase and tell their stories as well. It's an amazing community. It's very interactive. It's a very positive community where people will give you affection on your photos and comment and like, and also give constructive criticism. So it's a great place for anyone interested at all levels of photography to join and to learn and to interact with others.
So,
I just want to say that I have to be right back a minute, because all of my questions are for a workout equipment. So I must have got the wrong PX company. My bad.
I do some running, so I can build those too.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you're the CEO of the company. Are you a photographer? I mean, how did this kind of all come about?
Sure. So I joined, I'm not a founder of the company. I joined after the Series A. So we raised some money from some investors, and I joined the company subsequently after that. I'm not a photographer by trade, but I have an immense appreciation for photography and the utmost respect for photographers. But really, the nature and how you define a photographer is changing these days. Almost everyone is carrying around a camera in their pocket, and so what people consider a photographer or being a photographer is really changing in terms of self-expression, using images to tell a story, to communicate, to message somebody, to communicate an emotion or how they're feeling. I would say a lot of people should consider themselves a photographer.
Well, the landscape has certainly changed. I mean, 15 years ago, or so, basically, you had to have an actual physical camera, hanging around your neck, and taking pictures.
Yep.
Today, everybody with a smartphone not only has a camera, they have a really good camera. Most of the cameras today in most modern smartphones are outstanding in what they can do. I mean, not only can they take the images, you can do panoramic, you can do editing of the photos. There's so many things you can do right on the phone even before you get it downloaded to the computer. So the landscape has changed. If something happens, chances are we're going to see a video of it, because chances are there's somebody with a smartphone, they're taking pictures or taking movies or videos. So the landscape of the world certainly has changed by the mere fact that smartphones are now everywhere with these amazing cameras. And has that kind of changed?
Exactly.
Has that changed what it is that you're doing at 500px, or does it
just kind of open up a bigger market for you guys?
Yeah. Does it amplify what it is you're trying to do?
It definitely amplifies things, and as you said, it's changed. So the company was founded, or unofficially founded, in 2004 by this amazing travel photographer. His name's Evgeny, and he founded this as a blog out of his own kind of pain point. He could not find a place to showcase his best work, and so he started the site as a blog on LiveJournal. And he got all this amazing traction, all these views by posting his amazing work. And then his own personal and professional network started asking him, hey, can I post my images on your blog? It seems like an amazing place to showcase my work. And he said, sure. 2 rules, though. Number 1, it has to be among your best work. It just can't be anything. And number 2, remember in 2004, it has to be at least 500 pixels in dimension. So hence the name 500px. And so that's a little bit of the tribal history. Now, it's kind of an inside joke or a cute story now, because 500 pixels is it's a thumbnail now, and you're getting into like a lot of pixels these days. So the nature of the site is changing. A lot of the images that come in can be taken on mobile phones, on other form factors than dedicated cameras, but by and large, we are seeing the highest quality still, taken on full-frame cameras that are lightly edited and processed and through Lightroom and other editing tools. So, in terms of like the core photography enthusiast, an amazing image, we do see like the quality kind of still among full-frame cameras. But then, yeah, like the world is changing. Software is eating the world. So, a lot of the photos taken on mobile cameras are getting just so much better that you can almost see this convergence happening.
Well, you have the future built into your name too. You could change it to 5,000px or 50,000px or 500,000px. you can keep changing and upscaling your name. So that minimum requirements. You could do that. No, but it certainly makes a lot of sense. So now there are these websites that you can go where you can purchase or license photographic images. I know there are a lot of them out there, and some of them can be, simple. Some of them can be quite expensive. But I guess, how are you different than those? Because I guess with those, you don't make comments about the pictures. I mean, it's just you see something, you image, you use it, you license it, you buy it, or that's it, without making. They don't want your comments. They figured, if you buy it, you like it, and they don't really care about it. And I think you're different in that respect. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, we're definitely different in a number of aspects. In terms of, we like to differentiate on authenticity of images. So if you think about the community and the history and why this company was founded, it wasn't founded to sell images. It was founded for people to showcase their best images that are taken out of their own passion. And so when people come to 500px, they're astounded by the quality, the images. And so when we launched the licensing platform about 2 years ago, it really unleashed this amazingly creative set, this authentic imagery that really is distinct at 500px. And so now that you can license it to showcase for brands and agencies to showcase, work and to tell their stories, it really leverages the power of our community. It gives them an untapped resource that wasn't available to them before. And so if you're comparing us to, say, traditional stock providers, we would like to say that we differentiate among quality and authenticity. The other piece is the reach that we have. So with 8 million members around the world, we can get some really hyper-localized images that a company needs to tell a story or wants to market to a certain locale. We can get that imagery very quickly in near real time. And so as the nature of the world is changing in terms of the nature of work and how people are defining themselves as a photographer or a freelancer, we have this ability to really reach down into our community and get amazing imagery that's very localized and very authentic.
So you feel that because you started off as more of a social network and a media thing, I mean, I've been to the stock photo websites, and don't get me wrong, they have a lot of great photos there, but you definitely get the feeling that someone was walking around their house and they set up a teacup on a plaid, tablecloth and said, yeah, someone would use that on their website. Like, it seems like it's very much, what would people buy? And 500px is all about what do I like, what do I think is impressive, and then people can, kind of browse that selection.
Exactly, and there's this authenticity to the images. So one of the first images we sold was this photo of a lighthouse out in New Brunswick, and we sold it to the tourism board, and they bought like eight to 10 of these images, and they were astounded by the quality, the passion that's shown through in the images. And so what's funny is it was taken by a dentist, and these images, this was basically his annual pilgrimage to this lighthouse. And so every year he'd go to this lighthouse because he just loved it. It was his escape. And he took these amazing images that you can really see the passion and the dedication and the love that he had for, this imagery and this place. And so those are emotions that you really can't convey if it's posed or if it's too commercial. And so for a tourism board, that's obviously a way you can differentiate to have that emotional connection with those that you're trying to attract to your region. And so, again, this is just one of the types of and case studies that we do to showcase like what our community is capable of and the type of imagery that can be found on the site.
Yeah. So I understand the difference, and I think our listeners understand the difference between this as well. That 500px really didn't come about. Its main motivation wasn't a financial one. It was more one of passion. Where if you go to these stock photo images, they're just piling those on there, and if you like it, and you pay us X amount for this. Most of those photos also are watermarked in such a way that you can't use them. Now, are you using the same watermark techniques? And if someone looks at a photo and downloads it for their own personal use, is it going to have a watermark on it, or is it something that they can just? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we do watermark. We try to do it in an unobtrusive way where people can enjoy the photograph, but we also want to protect the photographer and make sure people just aren't right-clicking and saving to their desktop and bypassing copyright law. And so we immensely care about our photographers. We want to protect their work. It is their passion, and so you can imagine photographers are very passionate, very creative people. So if they don't feel like you're protecting their work, they're going to find other ways, or they're also going to make you, make it known to you that you're not doing enough to protect their work. So watermarks are part of our site. We watermark every image, and then for people that want to purchase, you can download what's called in the industry called the comp. You can download the comp, but it will have the watermark. It also has the URL of the photo, so then you can track and go back to that photo. So it's a little bit of protection, and it's also a little bit of ease of use for prospective buyers.
Okay, so let's say I find a photo on there that I really, really want to use for whatever. What does it matter what I'm using it for? Are there different levels of if I want to use it for personal or my website, or if I want to use it for a business? Are the rates changed based upon the usage of the image?
Not in terms of the use case, but in terms of what the actual image is the ultimate image is going to be produced for. And so we have 3 tiers of pricing. One is if you're going to use it for a website or digital only. If you're going to do a print, anything in print, it's a different type of license. And then we have what's called a products for resale. So if you're going to do any kind of mass production, so if you're going to purchase an image and put it on, say, a cup, then that's a different price as well. And so we have those 3 standard pricing. It's all royalty free, so you don't have to worry about a number of runs or a certain amount of impressions. It's all royalty free. So it's a pretty great license for buyers.
All right, so it's a static amount. In other words, you pay one time depending upon what it is you're using it for, and then and that's it. You're saying if I sell 10,000 cups with 10,000 images, I don't have to pay a royalty in addition to the licensing of the image. Is what you're saying, correct?
Exactly.
But what about, let's say I purchased the digital version and I license it from my website. As you well know, when people go to a website, they can always right-click and save, and of course, it's on my website. Doesn't have any kind of watermark because I paid for it to not have a watermark. So how do you protect yourself in cases like that? In case the image appears and someone says, "Oh, well, I found it on a website and I just started using it."
So we do, scrape. So we partner with a company called PixScout that does image protection that will scrape the internet for unauthorized usage. We just want to make sure that, we're protecting the photographer's copyrights, but we're also protecting the people that license images that are looking for a distinct and unique image. So we do have kind of IP protection through a partner.
Okay.
I was about to say that it's pretty common in in the internet age that people will take a photo, like someone posts on their blog, and then that someone takes that and posts it on their Instagram. They don't give credit or anything like that. How do you know that's someone isn't just taking someone else's work and claiming it's their own and trying to put it up on your website to to sell for profit? But I guess that's the answer, is that the other website, the other service that you partner with, I guess, kind of prevents someone stealing someone else's artwork.
Exactly. It's through a partnership, but also if you think about the community knows their own work, and it's a tight knit community. So a lot of the photographers will know each other and will know each other's work and style of work. And so if a new user is just downloading and posting versions of other people's work, it will be reported, and we'll take immediate action. We take copyright very seriously, and so we want to protect everyone that joins our site. And so it's definitely we've built the report tools and kind of the community moderation within the product.
Okay, I realize it's a little bit of the darker side. I want to talk more about the positive side of the industry, but this is something that but this is something we need to talk about, because I mean intellectual property and copyright law,
and especially if this is the artist's work, then they definitely want it to be sure that if they put it somewhere, it's safe. So
right. So that's the flip side. If we have people, many of our listeners are, do digital photography, and if they're going to post something up and they're going to use 500px and they have these great photos or images they want to share, at the same time they have to know that it's going to be protected. So what kind of agreements do you do with people who contribute to the 500px website, the actual photographers? What kind of arrangement do you have for them?
Yeah, so if they choose, it's free for anybody to join and to upload. You can upgrade for more features if you choose to. And then for those that want to license, so it's not required that we license your work, and it's not a requirement to join the site. And so for those that choose to license their work, and we hope everyone does, we have an arrangement, and we will represent their work. If you go on the site 500px.com or marketplace.500px.com, you can see all the amazing work that is from our community. And in terms of the relationship with the photographer, Depending on if the image is exclusive to 500px or not, we'll give a certain amount, a percentage back to the photographer. And if it isn't exclusive, then we'll give a lower percentage back to the photographer.
Okay. I guess maybe you can give us an example, because I'd like to know, our listeners to know, who gets the bulk of it. They bring it to you? Do you take most of it, or do you take part of it? I mean, what are some of the agreements that you have available for people who want to contribute to your site?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's standard. So for non-exclusive work, the photographer will take home 30%. If it is exclusive to 500px, we give them 60%, or they give us 40%. So 80% of our work, 4/5 of the library that's on 500px is exclusive to us. So it's great for the photographers.
Now that makes us a lot of sense, and it certainly sounds equitable. Do you do any additional kind of marketing, or you just put it on there and make it available? I mean, do you have like images of the week or images of the month, or do you got any kind of a promotion for an artist or on the images that they submit to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a very robust social following, and so our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram accounts are have several 100,000 to close to 1 million followers on just about every platform, and so we do a lot of interesting things on social. So we'll feature people on Twitter and tweet out very interesting, very relevant photos. We also do the same thing on Facebook. On Instagram, we do something a little bit special where we do these Instagram takeovers. So people and photographers in our community that we curate can take over the Instagram channel and post interesting photos that they've taken, and give really the background and the history of some of the photos that they've taken. And that's been really successful for us to get their following up as well as ours. We also have an e-zine, or electronic magazine or blog, called ISO. So it's iso.500px.com, where we do a number of things. So we do featured photographers. We do a top 25 roundup for the month. We do educational tutorials from influencers in our community. So really, it's this full-fledged magazine about photography, interesting spotlights for our community. So there's a number of marketing initiatives as well that we do. We do trade shows. We represent, basically our community on behalf of or to licensors as well.
All right. Sorry, but
and and one thing is that we're kind of going through and looking at some of the images on on 500px. Great images. A lot of really nice scenery shots are especially beautiful. But I've noticed that at the bottom of every picture, you have these tags, and if we're talking about advertising how to find photos, this tag system, I think a lot of people know how tags work. You put oh, there's a rock in here, so we're going to put rock. Things like that. Are these automatically generated, or is the author kind of inclined to put as many tags as as they apply to the picture, so that people can find them through searches?
Yeah, so all the tags you see are user generated, and so the user will enter these tags. But what we've launched in the last, I would say, month or two is suggested tags. So as you upload photos, or as photographers upload photos, we'll use computer vision to read what's in the photo and then suggest these tags. Right now they're opt-in tags, so you have to tap on each tag to add them. We're playing around and testing a feature where people have to opt out of the tags. So obviously we want to make sure that the tags that we suggest are accurate and contextually relevant. But for the most part, we want users and photographers to add as many tags as they can that are relevant, because it helps with search and discovery.
No, exactly. It's interesting that you're using, I guess, a form of artificial intelligence to look at a picture and then decide what tags. How accurate are they? I mean, you submit a mountain and it comes, and one of the tags might be, dog tail, or something.
Or maybe one of the worst ones would be, some photographer takes a selfie, puts it up there, and it's like, oh, here's a sheep. Yes, sheep.
Exactly. It's reasonably accurate, and so we've done pretty extensive testing in house and out in the wild among beta testers. We're really happy with the results. It can get better. So one of the first times I played around with it, it tagged me as a woman, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I don't think I'm that feminine looking, but okay. But yeah, like we've tested over and over again, and have said, yeah, like that's why we're a little bit hesitant to make it opt out in terms of the tags that we add. But as it gets better and better, we're going to get more and more comfortable with it. It's funny because we did a test almost 2 years ago using what we called our Signs of Life email. And so we indexed all the images in our licensing marketplace. And we said, is there a recognizable person in that photo? If so, please generate a model release. And some of it was recognizing shadows, some of it was recognizing animals or dogs, and so it's gotten light years better in the last 2 years. So the technology continues to advance.
All right, Andy. Listen, we're at the bottom of the hour, so we're gonna take a little break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about. Are there any ways? I mean, are there any particular photos that might be special to you, or do you any way you might want to highlight a particular photo of the week or photo of the month? We'll get into that when we come back. All right. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Ben and I are talking to 500px CEOs Andy Yang. We'll be right back with them right after this.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Hot. I saw a dog steam clean a hydrant. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Micro Semi PD104 GOAC Outdoor PoE switch. PoE, that's Power over Ethernet. This is built like military gear with a solid vent-free metal case and protective nipples over its 4 RJ45 PoE ports and its SFP upstream port. It's got a grounded power plug, ground wire, and those ports, and that's all that reach through the box. There's no fan. There's lots of anti-surge protection, a package that refuses to let in the weather. We can easily interface PoE surveillance cameras and maybe a wireless access point through this invisibly and inaudibly. So bottom line, the Micro Semi PD 104 GOAC outdoor PoE switch gives us powered gigabit Ethernet where other switches wouldn't survive. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. I just got his joke. Watch the dog steam clean a hydrant. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know where he's living, but it sounds extremely unbearable. So hopefully Marty Winston is doing well over there. But yes, welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 30 minutes past the hour as we continue on with 500px, and we have Mr. Andy Yang. And he is the CEO as we, talk about the service in general, and just definitely go check out the service itself. It's it's actually pretty self-explanatory. But before we get to the question about are there any unique photos, I'm just kind of curious that of course this being a this starting out as a file, or not even file sharing, but a photo, just like a community to show off and share photography, get feedback, and kind of do that kind of thing. You said 2 years ago you launched the monetary side of it. How has your user base changed over the course of trying to monetize some of your artist photos? Because having a bunch of people that are also photographers, that's something that they'll give feedback in the community. But then getting people who are just looking to perhaps purchase photography, that's a whole nother set of users that you have to go and garner to. So have you found it easy, difficult to get people to come in and look at all the great art, or how's that been going for you?
Yeah, it's been going well. It is a change in just the constituents on the site, right? So initially we just had basically two types of personas: the photographer that's going to upload amazing images and really participate, and really what we call the viewers or the curators that are just going to lurk on the site and like and favorite and put things in different galleries that we call them. And so, then we're adding this third constituent, which is very similar to the viewer or the curator, but they're actually going to transact and purchase and license images. So that's an additive effect. Users will get more feedback. They'll get more of their photos placed into different galleries. It's always a great feeling when I get an email notification saying somebody's added my photo to a gallery. Or that somebody's liked my photo, or I've reached a certain stage in my photo. What I forgot to mention is on the site, on the core community site, we have this pulse algorithm. So it's a 0 to 100 point score on each photo, and based on the social feedback that you receive, that score will go up. And that's a way for us to curate, and the community to curate the most amazing images at any one point in time. And so you can go on the site and look at which are the most popular photos of the time, and that refreshes constantly. And so you're getting this evergreen nature of content. In terms of the changing of the site, yeah, it's been additive to the experience. And as we get more and more involved in the licensing and learn a lot more about what buyers need, it's been really exciting to see that there's this entire licensing component, licensing industry, but a lot of also agencies and brands need original content shot for them. And so we have exciting new opportunities for our photographers to go on assignment for big brands and agencies that need amazing original content taken for them.
Yeah, I actually was just thinking about that. I mean, if let's say someone takes a picture of a mountain range and it's their original content and things like that, but let's say it's a nighttime shot, and a company would perhaps prefer a daytime shot, or vice versa, what have you. I mean, I guess it would be completely feasible to contact the artist and say, hey, could you go back out there and get a different shot? We'd like something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, then that's a way we've built a roster of amazing photographers that can basically be commissioned to get, amazing original content for these brands and for these agencies.
Okay. So I sort of asked you before the break if you could talk a little bit about, do you have like a picture of the week or a picture of the day or something along those lines, or maybe you might have a particular image that you find kind of interesting or special to you? I mean, speak a little bit about what it is that you have set up there.
Sure. I mean, it's really hard to pick because we have now over 80 million photos on the site.
80 million.
What I go to every day or multiple. Yeah, 80 million uploaded to the site. But as I look every day or multiple times a day, I usually go and gravitate towards editor's choice. And so we have an in-house team of content editors, visual researchers that are curating the most amazing images. And then we also invite folks from our community and basically deputize them to say, you're on our site, you see, much more of these, 80 million photos than we can possibly ever see. And so we choose and curate folks from our community to help curate editor's choice. So if you go to 500px.com/editors, EDITORS, you can see the most amazing kind of diverse collection of images that are truly unique and amazing. One of, if I were to pick, one photo that stands out, it's one of the photos that we sold for one of our most, exclusive buyouts. It was used in a worldwide advertisement. It was this amazing photo of a kiwi, and we sold it for $20,000. And it was an exclusive buy. I can't reveal the client, unfortunately, but it's this amazing shot. It was from a photographer that lives in Russia. And so, he took this amazing shot. The client wanted it exclusively, so he bought it out. You can't see it on the site, unfortunately, anymore. But it's just this amazing story where, this photographer made, a lot of money. It's a funny story because he uploaded the JPEG. We needed the raw version, and where he lives in, rural Russia. And so we were, over 3 days, he was trying to use, basically a 2400 baud modem.
Oh my gosh!
This, huge file. And it's just one of those stories. And it was, of course, near the holidays, and we were trying to get this image, as soon as possible. So it was just one of those funny stories. And so, that image is etched in my mind.
Now, when you do Kiwi search, you see all kinds of kiwis up on the
Yes, folks. I just want to assuage any fears that if you go to 500px, there are many other kiwi photos. Do not fret.
What was unique about what was unique about the kiwi that made it worth $25,000? I'm just kind of.
I mean, it was a great shot. It is unique looking. It was kind of like this, it looked illuminated. It looked translucent. It didn't really look like a kiwi.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was just very unique. And so it showcases the power of just creativity, how photographers see the world, and they can just get super creative about, just an ordinary piece of fruit, but it's an amazing, it told the right story, elicited the right kind of sense and emotion that the client wanted it to present to them. And so the right image, the right person is worth a lot of money.
Well, yeah, it's the right anything. It's the right buyer for a house. It's the right buyer for a car. Whatever. You find the right buyer. So,
but and what you just described, though, I think it is another a completely different level that we didn't talk about in terms of purchasing the rights to photos. Is that, I guess, if you mentioned that they paid a lot of money, $20,000, whatever it was, they paid a lot of money, and I guess at that point, whoever bought the photo owns all the rights, and you had the artist, I'm sure, after you received the paycheck, he was more than happy to take down the photo and have no other duplicates anywhere else on the web. But it sounds like, if people want to set up some kind of exclusivity with a particular photo, they can contact you or the artist, and you'll set something up where, it's their photo completely and wholly.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and so we try to we obviously are trying to find buyers and brands and agencies to showcase our community's best work. So we're always working on behalf of our photographers to represent their work, to get it distributed. And even if they don't want a license, we've set up an open API for platforms to just basically distribute content to get our photographers more exposure. So if you have a Chromecast from Google, you can see our amazing images on the backdrop on the screensaver. We've built an Apple TV app, and so we're getting our photographers this amazing distribution platform across Chromecast, across Apple TVs, across smart TVs. So our Sony 4K TV we launched at CES with Sony a couple of years ago to showcase just the amazing quality for 4K TVs. We were in the company of YouTube, ESPN, and Netflix, and then there was us. And so from a content perspective, if you want to see stunning photos, you come to 500px. And if you're a photographer, if you want your photos seen by millions, hundreds of millions of people, you come to 500px.
Now, is there some sort of vetting that goes on? I mean, when a photographer gives you, what's more important? I assume it's the reputation of the website. So you want it such so when people go to 500px, they know they're not going to get hit with everything. That what they're looking at basically is the best of the best of the best. Is that what you're kind of aiming for?
What are some of your minimum standards for photo?
We don't have any minimum standards. So that's the beauty of the community, because the community will curate the photos that basically rise in popularity and rise in that pulse score I mentioned earlier. And so when you upload, Craig and Ben, I hope after this chat, but you can upload, and the community, if they like the photo, will give you a like, a thumbs up, a virtual thumbs up, a comment, or they'll put it in a gallery that user is curating. And so the more likes and favorites that you get, your pulse rating will increase. And so after you cross a certain threshold, it'll go into a different bucket. And so if you upload, it goes into the fresh category. And so in our fresh category, it's everything. You see the fire hose of everyone around the world, all 8 million users uploading photos. And then once it hits a pulse rating of 60, it'll go into upcoming. And so, upcoming is a curated version of what's been in fresh. And so the most stunning photos will then go into upcoming. And then once you're in upcoming, if you continue to get traction and likes and favorites and gallery ads, it will go into popular. And popular is 80 and up, and it can go all the way up to 99.9 to 100. There's been, I think, only 5 to 10 images on the site that have ever reached a perfect score of 100.
Was that the Kiwi?
And so
was that the Kiwi?
The Kiwi was not.
No,
the Kiwi was not.
Okay,
100 points.
So But
that's a way that the community curates.
Can we see that? I mean, can we go and say, is there any place on the website where I can see the ones that are rated like at 100 points? Do you have it set up that way?
I think we had an all-time scoring, but the popular feed as you see it today is just it's temporal, so that's the most popular at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
There is I think a historical way you can search, but you'd have to search on a very broad category and then filter down by pulse rating.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no easy way. There's no Hall of Fame, if you will.
Well, maybe you should make a
That's
Hall.
a good
Maybe you should make a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, it's as we talk through it, it's a great idea, and just to kind of have this pantheon of great images.
Yes, exactly.
Or of course, worst case, I do see here that galleries is something new that you've added. You could have one of your galleries be all-time high, or Hall of Fame, or what have you. So,
yeah.
What are galleries?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Craig.
And if you use any of these, the Ben only requires a minimal royalty for the idea. Okay,
that's what I do. No, but what is galleries, by the way?
Pardon?
Oh no, I was just asking. What is galleries? I noticed that there's a new tag next to gallery, so something obviously worth talking about.
Yeah, so galleries is a way for people that are a bit shyer, or we've been told, as you look at Fire MPX, it'll even when I joined the company, it was intimidating to post or upload my first image. So galleries is a way for viewers to curate images and basically organize images in different folders, if you will, or galleries as we call them. And so they're a way for people to create without having to upload. And so you can curate these amazing galleries of travel destinations, of food, of these amazing experiences, emotions, and then you can start to share these galleries, or if they're just private galleries that you want to curate, you can collect those galleries. So we implemented that feature to help draw people in, to have a bit more of a kind of creator mindset for people that were just viewing and then seeking Fire MPX for inspiration and weren't ready to upload yet.
Okay, so tell us about this. You've created something called the Global Photo Walk that's going to be taking place in September. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Yeah, so it's this amazing thing. This is our, I think, 5th year of doing it. It's the world's largest photo walk. And for those of you that don't know what a photo walk is, on September 17th, depending on your city, there'll be a local host, and they'll organize a time. Usually it's at in the morning, or when the lighting's really good for photos. And basically you'll meet other Fire MPX community members, and you'll go for a stroll around your city. And there's a central theme. So this year's global sponsor for the photo walk is Red Bull. So we're super excited to have Red Bull as a partner. And yeah, like we want these amazing action shots, so life in action. And as people travel in these cities, they can meet other community members, really start to trade notes on photography and interact with each other, and then post the event, hopefully upload all those amazing images to Fire MPX. And then yeah, so it's this great kind of offline component to a digital community.
Wow. Okay. And again, this all starts in September as well. Now,
Yes.
you said you weren't.
Yeah, and it's a.
Go ahead, Ed. You were finishing.
Yeah, no, it's a huge deal. Like last year, we had over 210 cities, all 7 continents. So we had a photo walk in Antarctica, which was really awesome, and we had over 30,000 people participate. So it's really this global phenomenon that's taking over the world. And so we're super excited to partner with Red Bull and just kind of do the largest social photography event that's seen anywhere. So it's great. So if you're interested, go to photowalk.firempx.com. It's a great event.
Antarctica. Now, are you required to go to each one of these events, Andy, personally, or?
I mean, I really want to go to Antarctica. It is on my bucket list. But yeah, I am. I think I'll be in Toronto, where I'm based. But
well,
yeah.
Does 500px have a representative from your company to at those locations when each one of these global photo walks, or is it just you just endorse it?
We just endorse it, and we help manage the logistics. We send swag and buttons.
Got it.
And we have a playbook or a guidebook. And so yeah, like last year though, we sent 2 members of our company to Dubai, which had the most number of RSVPs last year, and we actually had to split the photo walk into a morning and an evening one.
Wow.
Because I think we had 250 at each time. And then in I think in Chhattisgarh, India, it might be Chhattisgarh, or in a city in India, they had over 463. They were gunning for the Guinness Book of World Records, so they had like around 470 people go on that photo walk. So
wow.
It's truly this global phenomenon. It's super awesome. So yeah, if you can, just get out to your city and join one.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I mean, do you get into like cool camera technology? I mean, what's coming up next? And what? I mean, because cameras are appearing everywhere. I mean, you've got GoPros, and you've got all these amazing cameras. People doing amazing things with the cameras. I was just watching on the news. Some guy jumped out of a plane for the first time without a parachute. And lived to tell about it. And they photographed it.
That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got some amazing stuff. People are doing some crazy things and documenting it with cameras.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit on what's coming up with camera technology and what kind of camera you might use?
Yeah, like obviously being in a photography plus technology industry, we keep up to date. There's companies that are literally bending the laws of physics to get DSLR quality in a smaller form factor, and so we've been looking at companies like this company called Light.co, LIGHT.co. And what they've done is they've built 16 separate cameras into a form factor like an iPhone. It's very similar, same footprint, and it uses software. So each of these 16 cameras takes a different angle, and then it creates DSLR quality in a mobile form factor. And so these are one of the interesting companies that we come across every day or every week in the industry, where they're literally using software to bend the laws of physics, which is really cool and really exciting. There's also companies like Lytro, which we partner with, which has kind of the light field technology, which allows you to refocus the photo after it's been taken. And so that was a company we worked closely to understand their technology and to showcase some of their images. Obviously, with all the things happening in 360 and VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality, we're starting to think through, can our same community of creators take these new applications and get this amazing content? And we're proving that, like once you have the creators and the community, it's an easy extension for them to do this type of content creation.
And can we expect to see some of this creation on the 500px in the upcoming months, or what can we expect from 500px? What's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely taking a wait and see approach. So we want to make sure each technology that we invest in and ultimately propagate on our site is mature and it's democratized, so a lot of people can create this content at scale. So I think it'll be probably a couple of years before the cost of production goes down to a community of our size and scale. But in terms of what we're focused on, it's really, again, connecting our community to amazing brands and agencies, whether that's through the licensing platform that we've built or through the assignments and really commissioning photographers. We're also really excited about Quests, which we recently launched a couple months ago, where it's this opportunity. It's basically like a photo contest that's branded, that's sponsored by amazing brands, and then they can leverage our amazing community and get this amazing type of content. So one of the most amazing ones we recently did was with Air New Zealand, and so they had a list of about 60 different numbers that they needed to get these images for, and so they wanted just our community to get as creative as they could. They were going to license 200 of these images, and it was this great partnership. And the winner of this contest would get 2 round-trip tickets anywhere Air New Zealand flies, which is a great prize as well.
Sure. Out of curiosity, any particular reason why you've picked this one photograph on your homepage, the man and the woman sitting looking at this incredible valley view? Is there any particular reason why you picked that as to be your cover photo?
It spoke to the essence of photography as a way to connect with people. It was an intimate moment. It also showcases this amazing scenery, and so as we thought about what's the cover image that we want, we kind of want all these essences at play. It's the emotional attachment, it's that intimacy, as well as this amazing landscape and the amazing quality of that photo. And it just seemed like a very perfect snapshot for people to say, like, okay, like, this is an achievable photo. I could take a photo like this, but it's also like aspirational as well. Sure. And it's just captures a perfect moment in time between two people.
Where is it?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I know I've seen it before.
So
Yeah.
I was more focused on the emotional
Right.
aspect, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
I know I've seen it before, and it's somewhere in like the Northwest. I want to say somewhere closer to like Vancouver. I've seen like I remember that little like those little islands in the middle of that lake. I completely don't remember.
I think it's in British Columbia. It's we're headquartered in Toronto, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was a Canadian.
there is
a
That
Canadian.
doesn't shock me that I spoke to you though. So
Yeah.
because it was from your neck of the woods.
and there's software that'll actually kind of identify landscapes, and they'll try to find them where it might be in the planet. So maybe we can do that. Listen,
very cool.
Andy, listen, we're pretty much out of time. I just want to thank you for taking the time to let our listeners know about 500px, and we wish you the best of luck. Obviously, you're having very good results with it, and thank you so much for taking the time to tell
Very
us.
cool service. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Ben.
All right, listen, have a good rest of the day, and thank you again.
Bye.
Bye, Andy.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Sure. Okay, bye. All right, there you go. Okay, 500px. You can check it out for yourself. It's 500px.com. Literally, the number 500 and the letters px. 500px.com, just as it sounds.
Not to be mistaken with PX90, which which led to many different questions coming to mind. But it is what it is.
So again, you can check it out. Of course, if you we'll have it. It's up on our homepage at computeramerica.com. I understand we have the older logo, so we'll try to get the newer logo put up there for them. But certainly the links and everything are there at computeramerica.com. Coming up in the next hour, we got some really interesting news stories, including an upgrade alert. Okay, and we'll tell you all about that. If you're into web browsing, you're certainly going to want to know about it. Some of the interesting stories. Also, we have Facebook getting into building drones. What? Facebook building drones? And also, all you chicken McNugget lovers out there, McDonald's is getting rid of the artificial preservatives. Well,
Yay!
what's
left? I know.
Exactly. And drones delivering blood to rural America. These stories and lots more coming up in hour 2 of the Computer America Show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back in just a moment.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show about computers and technology. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we just had the CEO of 500px on the show. And if you missed any portion of that, you certainly can listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at computeramerica.com. And they are there for your edification. And again, as I said, it's not today's Wednesday, but in 2 days we're going to be giving away our social media winner of the week prize, the Logitech M535 Bluetooth wireless mouse. Head over to computeramerica.com and make sure that you get entered into that contest. You only have to do it once, and then you're all set. Just take a moment. Takes a moment, and then who knows what you might win. Okay. So anything else before we get to our technology news? We got a lot of stories to cover.
No. Well, you mentioned that you had an upgrade alert, but we have a story included here that pertains to the upgrade. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do that before or during the article or what have you.
I think we'll just do that when I start doing the article, and then we'll get into the details, okay?
Already.
Alrighty. So, all right. Well, let's get to our computer and technology news then. Here we go. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Check them out at slimwareutilities.com.
Oh, right. And so, yeah, we'll save the upgrade alert for later.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not. All right. So, Craig, I think you should just kick off today because
Absolutely.
as the noise indicates, it's either Russia has invaded or some software company somewhere pushed out a minor update. So, which is it?
Or we're being attacked by Klingons. It's exactly.
Or, yeah. So, it's a wide gambit.
Yeah.
Which is it?
It's Firefox. Firefox 48. Version 48 just ships. I've already downloaded it and it's been playing with it. And they've added a lot of really interesting features. The first thing I noticed when I downloaded it, now remember I have a Mac, so I have the Mac version, but I'm assuming the first thing I noticed is that on the what they call the sidebar, and where you can see bookmarks or the history, you can see that in the sidebar. The spacing got all messed up. It used to be really tight, and now it's like it's not quite double space, but it's like a space and a half, and it stretched everything out, up and down vertically. So now the amount of I can have less bookmarks appearing in the same space. And I looked everywhere. I checked, on the configuration. I've looked everywhere.
Something minor changed, and I had to spend all my time trying to put it back. Yeah, I hear you.
Trying to find it, and so finally couldn't find it. I went to Mozilla support, and I started my own question, and you can view your own questions. And the moment I posted it, 2 other people have come back and said they're experiencing the same thing. So I know it's just not me, and other people are experiencing it as well. Don't have a solution for it yet.
Oh no, I'm sure everyone is experiencing it. I'm just sure it's just you 3 that care.
Well, I care because there's a limited amount of space, and you want to try to get as many bookmarks as you can in that space. And now that they spread them out slightly up and down vertically, you have maybe 25% less bookmarks that you can have in that space. But anyway. A minor issue. The main thing Firefox 48 brings is Rust, and if you don't know what that is, basically this is it's actually came out with 2 long-awaited features designed to improve stability and security of the browser. This, according to Ars Technica and Peter Bright, who was and basically after 7 years of development, version 48 is at last enabling a multi-process feature comparable to what Internet Explorer and Google Chrome have offered as a stable feature since 2009.
Since 2009,
yep.
Internet Explorer, not Microsoft Edge or what have you. Yeah. Internet. Wow.
By running their rendering engines in a separate process from the browser shell, IE and Chrome are more stable. Basically, a web page crash does not take down the entire browser, and more secure. Those separate processes can run with limited user privileges. In order to bring the same multi-process capability to Firefox, Mozilla started the Electrolysis project in 2009, but the organization has taken substantially longer than Microsoft, Google, and Apple to shift this feature. Now, the reason for this delay, was partly driven by changing priorities within the organization. Electrolysis was suspended in 2011 before being resumed in 2013, partly because Firefox's historic extension architecture made this kind of separation much harder to achieve. Traditional Firefox extensions can invasively meddle with parts of the browser, and many assumed equal access both to the rendering engine and to the browser's shell. Firefox's developers had to both create a new extension system. They've ended up using HTML and JavaScript-based extensions closely related to those pioneered by Chrome and also adopted by Edge, and create shim layers to offer developers a temporary way to continue to support their old extensions. Even after all this time, Firefox's multi-process system is not a match for its peers. The rollout of Electrolysis is being handled conservatively in spite of a successful beta. For the next few days, only a fraction of a percent of Firefox 48 users will have Electrolysis turned on by default. If this mini rollout goes well, the multi-process feature will be rolled out to about half of all Firefox 48 users and will be extended to handle extensions known to be compatible in Firefox 50. Electrolysis will then be rolled out to Firefox 51 users with touchscreen devices, right-to-left languages, and disabled accessibility software, making it available to most Firefox users.
So it seems like it's still a couple iterations of Firefox before it gets to everyone, but
Yep.
it sounds like they're definitely heading in that direction.
Yeah, but they, it makes sense. You don't want to take something that's as major and just slap it out there, and then only to find that you're going to have a horrible, there's a bug or something that causes everybody's browser to crash. So they're being very careful, and I admire them for that. For them being that careful, you want to make sure that they're doing it. They're doing it little piecemeal at a time to make sure that nothing brings it down to its knees. And but eventually, everybody will wind up with a more superior and better browser.
Although they're saying that the feature is still a little bit behind the times compared to Edge, Chrome, and Safari, because as you said, they're kind of sandboxing each tab to work in, to work independently. So if one tab goes down, then the whole browser doesn't go down. Well, the difference between Firefox and all the others is that with Firefox, all the tabs are handled by one processor, whereas Edge, Chrome, and Safari, they actually assign different tabs to different processors. So
makes it faster.
Right, which makes it faster, and Firefox could potentially, if something happens to that one process, the whole thing could still come down. It's still an issue in stability, but it's still more stable than it used to be.
Yes, exactly. So between that, they're saying probably not until 2017 will the final version, will be released. But they are working toward it. Anyway, Firefox 48 came out, and that was one of the main features of it. I guess one of the other features is that the sidebar now stacks its bookmarks vertically further apart. So
they didn't even mention that one.
No, they didn't mention that feature.
Maybe it's not important. So
yeah.
Anywho, this is a story that was actually on the docket yesterday, but we didn't get to it. I found it very interesting because, Craig, you are a stern believer in flossing.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And proper oral hygiene, very important. Cannot understate that your teeth, you only get one set after the baby set, and you should take care of them, because the more you take care of them, the more they will take care of you.
This is very true.
There's a new study out that focuses on something that everyone took for granted for about 100 years,
mm-hmm.
and it's flossing. Mm-hmm. So this is from Ars Technica. I found it a couple of other places, but they had a great article by Beth Mole. And the title, Dentists Forgot to Study Flossing for About a Century, but recommended it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But recommended it anyways. So the federal health expert dropped it from the health guideline due to lack of research.
Yeah.
So it's not even part of, hey, for a healthy mouth, you should floss. Not even a part of that anymore.
But I'm sorry.
Craig, for you, it's definitely placebo. It's it makes you feel better, so you recommend it.
You see the difference, though. The results are quite visible. I mean, it does really does. As far as I'm concerned, it really helps the health of your teeth and your mouth. But
well, let's get into the article here, saying that for many, taking the time to floss is a bother. But for dentists, taking the time to properly research flossing over the course of a century is apparently even more inconvenient. So despite being dentist recommended since the early 20th century, researchers have yet to conduct sufficient reliable studies to support the claim that flossing effectively prevents cavities and gum disease. The stain on the dental profession was cracked wide open last year. Wow, really wide open. But when the Associated Press asked federal agencies for the data behind its recommendation that Americans should floss. So after the AP filed the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, request, the government admitted that it didn't have adequate data to back the recommendation, something it is required to have by law. Ooh. So the U.S. Agricultural and Health and Human Services Department quietly removed flossing from the recommendation from the latest version of the dietary guidelines. So, they're saying that since doctors began saying that string-based tooth scraping was good for oral health, A handful of studies have been conducted. However, they all fall short of what's needed to make the convincing argument. So a review of a dozen randomized control studies concluded that overall, quote, overall, there is a weak, unreliable evidence that suggests that flossing plus toothbrushing may be associated with a small reduction in plaque at 1 or 3 months. So, other studies have only looked at oral health over shorter periods of time, such as 2 weeks, which is not enough for cavities or gum disease to develop. Still, many dentists will continue to recommend flossing for removing debris in your chompers. It's low risk, low cost, saying that we know there's a possibility that it works, so we feel comfortable telling people to go ahead and do it. So, yes, Craig, you're right. When you floss, you definitely see the little chunks of plaque and the little chunks of food come out from between your teeth.
Yes,
that's something you should definitely pay attention to. But at the same time, I guess there wasn't that, like, I guess somewhere out there has to be a recommendation of don't shoot yourself in the foot. It's bad for your health, because they must have done the research at some point to prove shooting yourself in the foot is bad for your health. They've never done that very basic research.
No.
So technically the U.S. government cannot recommend flossing.
That you not shoot yourself in the foot. Exactly. The point is, bottom line is that, I mean, just talking from personal experience, I brush my teeth and I use a Sonicare and I take very good care. And then the end, then I floss and still stuff comes out. The floss catches that the toothbrush can't. And I mean, to me, that's just self-evident. It makes common sense. So yes, I will not follow the advice and not floss. I will continue to floss, and it is my recommendation to anyone or everyone that I know is that flossing is good for you. Go ahead and continue to do it.
Even though there's no evidence.
Even though there's no evidence. Just like there's no evidence that shooting yourself in the foot may or may not be harmful. I tend to.
I'm just saying that don't be surprised over the next couple months and years. Definitely, if it's that important, then they'll definitely allocate resources to properly study the effects of flossing.
There you go. Okay, so getting back from the oral technology to Windows 10, evidently, I guess according to Engadget, I was very surprised to see this. The Windows 10 update that we've been talking about is evidently going to be adding ad block support to the Edge browser. So basically, ad block was limited to insider program participants for Windows 10, but evidently now ad block and ad block plus are no longer exclusive to Windows insider program participants. Microsoft's anniversary update for Windows 10 doesn't only come with Cortana voice commands and many other features. It also adds support for the ad blocker to your Edge browser. There you go. This version is based off the extension's code for Chrome instead of Internet Explorer, but you might encounter some issues anyway since it's still in development. Of course, you'll have to wait for the anniversary update first before you can install the add-on and tweak its potentially problematic whitelist. You're bound to get it within the coming weeks, so long as you're running Windows 10.
Right, and the quote-unquote potentially problematic whitelist, I'm sure, is referring to the fact that AdBlock was recently sold to a company, and the consortium behind the ad blocking industry made a bunch of concessions and deals that mean that these large companies and these large advertising firms can actually pay services like AdBlock to whitelist their companies by default. So you download an ad blocker, but potentially it could have any number of services and websites that will automatically not have their ads blocked. So that's why they're saying potentially problematic.
Well, I think they're doing it. They're coming it with it turned off, but I think they were fairly clear that if you want to, you can turn it back on and then block those ads. But it comes in the box. It comes defaulted turned off for those companies. But if you say, "Oh, I don't want ads from XYZ company," and here it is, let me turn it on. It's an extra step that you'll have to do.
And then, but I mean, there was also language in the contracts that they signed that said that they're open to super ads that would not be blockable by any ad block in the network. So, advertising companies are very skittish about ad blocking services. So you can bet there's going to be more, legal hubbub about them. But as of right now, the service spreading to other browsers is definitely a good thing because I personally enjoy AdBlock.
Well,
very convenient.
Yeah, especially when you go on things like YouTube and what have you. You don't have to sit through dozens of ads to watch a short.
I mean, just myself. Let's see. If you're watching the video portion, you may find this entertaining. I have uBlock Origin, and since I've installed it, and this was like less than a year ago, it's blocked 866,096 different ads.
Oh, so you're using something different. You're not using AdBlock. You're using uBlock.
I told you before about
I
uBlock.
remember that. Yes, you did. I remember. Is that available for the Mac too?
I assume so.
Okay, well, I'll have to check it out. Although, quite frankly, I'm happy with AdBlock Plus right now. So
right. But yeah, so just since I've installed this, and yes, over the course of under a year, I've saved myself from viewing almost 870,000 ads.
I wonder how much time of your personal that you've saved from not having to do that. If you,
but when they say blocked ads, they mean blocked elements, and these elements can include anything from a background image that an advertiser may have paid to put on a website, or a sidebar ad, or a banner ad, anything like those. Those get counted in there as well. So like technically, a banner ad doesn't take up any of your time, but it just clutters up your viewing experience. So
yeah, but the ads you see in videos, the video ads.
Yeah, they do have some video ads, and those do take up some of your time. I really don't know, but even though I don't know exactly how much time I've saved, I definitely know that I have no intention of going back and watching those 870,000 ads.
To make up for it.
The internet is very, very hard to monetize. I sympathize with that, and there are definitely ways that it can be done right, and there are ways it can be done wrong. I think when someone installs something and over the course of less than a year saves themselves from having to see 870,000 products, I think there's something wrong with the way the internet advertises. So I don't feel any shame about using that.
Yeah. There's arguments for both sides, and we have to.
I get that they need to make money. It's just hitting one person with 870,000 ads isn't the best way to do it.
Nope.
Yeah, and not just one person. There are over a couple billion, there's probably 2 or 3 billion people on the internet. If each one of those, let's say, gets 1 million ads a year, who knows how many? That's trillions of ads.
Yeah.
Something's fishy. Something's fishy. So,
all right.
Anywho, so we go from AdBlock. Let's move on over to. There were a lot of good ones, and I think we're gonna move on over to not Mt. Gox. Craig, do you remember what Mt. Gox was?
Yeah, that was with Bitcoins. They went bust because they
went bust. They got hacked. Something happened, and people lost millions of dollars in Bitcoin.
Yes, yeah.
Well, there's a follow up, and this is from a similar exchange called Bitfinex, and this is the Hong Kong-based Bitfinex has halted trading and is cooperating with law enforcement to investigate a breach where hackers stole $63 million, $63.7 million from a Bitcoin exchange. That's a lot of Bitcoin.
Yes, it is.
A Hong Kong-based Bitcoin exchange has suspended all transactions after hackers stole a significant sum of the cryptocurrency. They are reporting that about 120,000 Bitcoin, currently valued at $64 million, rounding up, has been taken from Bitfinex. And the news has helped to contribute to a drop in Bitcoin's value, and over the last 2 days has fallen about 13%. The entire currency fell 13% because of one hack. Crazy.
Wow.
So, for its part, Bitfinex has already revealed that it is investigating the breach and is working with law enforcement agencies. And while the exchange actually deals in other cryptocurrencies beyond Bitcoin, the hack itself did not take anything beyond Bitcoin. So the company also directly contacted Bloomberg to confirm that the deposits made in US dollars were not affected by the breach. So, yep, it sounds like just overseas, Bitcoin transactions. So, of course, admittedly, instances like these, won't irreparably harm Bitcoin, but the regularity of these instances must be concerning for some outside investors, because people are looking at all these controversies and looking at all these hacks with Bitcoin, and they're seeing it as less and less stable of a currency. If you can have $20 in your wallet, but no one's ever going to hack you to the point where someone's going to take that $20 cash out of your wallet. So 2016 has also seen prominent Bitcoin developer Mike Hearn quit after suggesting that the currency's structural failings can't be remedied. We actually covered when that happened, saying that there are some inherent weaknesses that cannot be fixed in Bitcoin. So in addition, the reward for mining each Bitcoin has fallen, and of course, and while that's a well-known feature of the system, it has forced a few businesses to shut down, because there are businesses that simply mined Bitcoin and made their revenue off of selling the Bitcoin, and that's no longer profitable. So yeah, and gonna wrap up there. I had heard it explained to me that this hack had happened at Bitfinex. They had a 2-key system where Bitfinex had one key. Whoever deposited or exchanged a Bitcoin at Bitfinex had another private key, and then there was a third key that was with the company, like Bitfinex itself, like not the marketplace, but the actual company behind it. And to get access to the Bitcoins, they had to, whoever wanted to request the transactions to, withdraw the Bitcoins had to have 2 out of 3 keys. So either the company behind the exchange could pull Bitcoin that they thought was problematic, or something or other, like they could do it by themselves, or the person doing the transaction could do it by themselves, because the first key was always there. The first key was always with the exchange. But how this hack happened was, I understand that Bitfine the company was hacked, and someone got onto their servers, leaked the security key for for most of the Bitcoins that they had. And by the fact that they were able to take this key and request the transfer, they had 2 out of 3 keys. So they were able to, withdraw all the coins without the submitters, or without the person using the exchange, without their permission. And this led to, like we said, about $64 million in Bitcoin being privately stolen. And again, the worst thing about one of the things about Bitcoin, it's not even the worst thing, it's just a feature of the value. You can't even, yes, each coin has an individual kind of signature. Each one has its own code that is associated with that particular Bitcoin, but there are ways of laundering the Bitcoins that you trade them, and there are services out there that will trade and essentially launder your Bitcoins for you. And so at the end of the day, this $64 million of Bitcoin, these 120,000 Bitcoin, are near untraceable, because even if you find the one with the proper signature that was stolen, there's no saying that who currently owns it is the person who stole it. So it's just a feature of Bitcoin that, even though yes, there is something is stolen, it's just like finding a dollar bill with a similar serial code that was stolen from a bank. Like Joe Feynman can have the dollar bill and uses it at a 7-Eleven. That doesn't mean that Joe Feynman was the one who broke into the bank and stole it at gunpoint.
No.
So
if they can only, I don't know if they can, and they can't. They can't. I guess they showed if it was part of a bank robbery, if the federal government can impound it from you. I guess they could. But if you already spent it,
right.
If you're not the one who stole it, you just get it.
Right. And that's what Bitcoin does. Either they launder it through many services where they send it from wallet to wallet to wallet to wallet, and just request refunds, so that you get Bitcoins back in equal value, but you won't get the same exact Bitcoins back.
Yeah.
So you get this laundering thing. And yeah, it just means that yes, even though it is a digital currency, and it sounds like you should be able to just say, oh, refund that transaction, it's not that simple. And yeah, no,
Bitcoin never was a simple concept in the first place.
Right. But it was not a simple concept, but it was a very elegant concept that was solvable. problems.
its complexity, you found security in its complexity, yet at the same time, situations like this make it very difficult to.
Well, yeah, the same reasons why you can't track down Bitcoin and just delete them from someone's wallet is the same reason that owning Bitcoin means that you actually do own a digital currency. It's not just something, a figment that someone says is an existing thing. That same feature means that, yes, even though there is no physical Bitcoin, you own that Bitcoin. If you wipe out that tenant saying that, oh, you can delete any Bitcoin that was part of a robbery or a heist, that kind of undermines the whole idea of Bitcoin. Meaning that you really don't own it means that you're just kind of borrowing the Bitcoin itself.
Yeah.
So the thing that makes it secure is also the thing that makes it inherently difficult to track down robberies like this.
Yeah. Oh, well. Hey, coming up in the next hour, we're gonna in the next half hour. If you live in Pennsylvania or you're planning to move to Pennsylvania, guess what, folks? If you have Netflix, Pennsylvania is going to apply a 6% Netflix tax. I have never heard of this.
Oh, what are you talking about? You never heard about this? We did an entire article about Chicago.
Oh yeah, no, but
that was like the online luxury, but they call it like Netflix tax. Like, and something like this has popped up before.
Yeah, well, evidently it's popping up other places too, and evidently Pennsylvania is going to do it. I'll start the article, and then
it's those Amish. They can't have enough Netflix, and it's just clocking up the state.
Exactly. So if you're a Netflix user in Pennsylvania, according to this story by Stephen Lovely, he says, we have some bad news for you. Your Netflix subscription is about to start costing more, thanks to a change in tax laws in Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania has a 6% sales tax, but that tax did not previously cover digital downloads and streaming services. That's changed thanks to a new revenue package passed by the legislature and signed into law by Governor Tom Wolf. Pennsylvania residents will now have to pay that same 6% sales tax on their streaming subscriptions.
What a load of crap.
Yeah, and I was going to move to Pennsylvania. No, it wasn't.
Not now.
Definitely not now. We'll continue on with this story right after the break. We have another news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up. You're listening to the Computer America Show. Ben and I will be right back after these words. Please stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
One good thing about all this, son, vampires are now extinct. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, Dog and Bone LockSmart Bluetooth padlocks. We got in both a larger round slice of disc size and a smaller, squarer mini model of LockSmart keyless Bluetooth padlocks from Dog and Bone. The base of each has a pairing button and a USB charging port. You can set up its app on several devices once you set up your login, and you can control multiple locks from within the app. We renamed the locks and added their pictures when we tested them. The app also lets you monitor each lock's remaining battery, and a brief recharge, even from a power puck, can make an otherwise dead lock usable. Bottom line, we don't always remember combinations or keys. So Dog and Bone LockSmart Bluetooth Mini and Standard padlocks let our handset take over. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. There we go. And we are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. Craig, you were just in the middle of talking about this one where Pennsylvania is implementing a 6% streaming tax.
Yeah.
Well, they're calling it the Netflix tax, but of course, streaming services can include anything from video games to Amazon Prime to any online streaming subscription. So, I mean, that's a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, and again, as I said, this was just signed into law by the governor of the state, Governor Tom Wolf, and this it's not even it's done. It's law, and now, although the term Netflix tax has become popular, laws like this just don't affect Netflix. You mentioned things like Hulu and HBO Now and competitors, other streaming services. Also, app purchases and ebooks are also affected. Good grief, thing is really sweeping.
Yeah.
Now, Keystone State lawmakers didn't just pass the law for fun, of course. They recently decided on a hefty $31.5 billion budget, and they came up with $1.3 billion short of paying for it. The government is trying to close that funding gap, and streaming subscriptions are being stuck with the bill. Good grief. I guess they looked at, hey, here's another revenue source that we can go after,
Yeah, a lot of local governments and a lot of state level government agencies have been trying to figure out how to tap internet commerce because they're seeing a sweeping reduction in their current revenue because let's say you buy something off of Amazon. Amazon, of course, being out in, I want to say either Washington or California. I don't know where their headquarters is actually based, but it's somewhere over there on the West Coast. And let's say you're somewhere in Ohio. Then if you buy a pair of shoes off of Amazon, you're, of course, you do your complete transaction online and they ship it to you. You're not paying state tax on your new pair of shoes. There's a lot of revenue that the government is seeing just kind of go up in smoke because of all these online transactions. They're trying to find some way to get that revenue back. And that's why, taxing the internet across state lines is so complicated, is because everyone wants a piece of that pie that they're losing, that otherwise they would be getting. Mm-hmm. But, whose tax do you pay? Do you pay the tax in California? Do you pay the tax in Ohio? Do you pay the tax where where the transaction was processed, let's say in New York? It's hard to really say where does the tax revenue go and how much of it should be paid.
What I'm worried about is somebody will start double dipping. You'll have to pay a tax where you bought it and the tax to pay where you purchased it from. Wouldn't that be?
Well, in the earlier days, that's exactly what was happening. You had to pay state tax and you had to pay the sales tax in whatever state you were buying from. And, it really, you were paying, double the taxes on one transaction. It was making eBay a living nightmare. But they've, it's gone to higher courts and they have backed off on it. But every once in a while you hear taxes like this. That's it's a streaming tax that is just added on to otherwise why would you pay a tax? You already pay taxes on your internet. Why would you pay taxes for what you do with your internet? It's not everyone's favorite thing.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering how these elected officials are looking at their the voters in the face, because I don't know if I would want to vote for Governor Tom Wolf if he did that to where I live.
They're obviously trying to make up a deficit in their budget.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously no one likes being stuck with the bill. 6% doesn't seem like a lot, but of course, spread out across enough people, it really does make a difference. And if you are, let's say you have HBO Go and Netflix and Hulu, you're a real media junkie. Mm-hmm. And then let's say this also applies to video games because, hey, they're online subscriptions. Mm-hmm. You're paying, an extra $20 a month just because of this one stupid tax. It's, it can get really costly.
Yes, it can. And evidently, finishing up this article, the Pennsylvanians aren't the first to have to pay up to keep streaming. As you pointed out, similar taxes already exist in Chicago and Minnesota, as well as parts of Canada. Oh, Canada. With an increasing amount of commerce taking place online and involving digital goods, it's likely that this tax is a sign of things to come. Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not going away. It really is a problem, especially with things like Amazon, who are starting to do same day delivery and 1 hour delivery. It's these companies exist solely on the internet or as services provided by the internet. They don't have to worry about tax codes and tax laws in these areas, and taxes are unfortunately how the government continues to provide roads and public schools and prisons and whatever else the government does, which is a lot. The government really does a lot with these taxes. They definitely need them. They can't just see their tax revenue dwindle without finding new ways to tax for the same things that they have been before. It's no one likes paying taxes, and I definitely hate the fact that because we're a technology show, definitely hate because people are tech savvy that they get stuck with the bill, but I can see why.
I guess you think that eventually the tax-free haven that we find so much with all our internet's going to go by way.
Something's going to have to change, and I don't know if there's going to be a universal, internet service tax, or if I don't know if it's going to be done at the federal level. I don't know if it's going to be left to the state level, but they need to figure out some kind of plan where you aren't paying multiple state taxes just because you're doing business, one transaction online. So you aren't paying, 2 or 3 different taxes. It would just make online non-competitive compared to walking into, your local store.
So tell me why, not that I am advocating this in any way, shape, and form, but I think it's a legitimate question, Ben. So if I live in Chicago, what's to stop me from using a VPN and saying that, I'm based out of Florida and not pay the tax? What stops me from doing that?
I don't even know if a VPN would really do that because, unless your credit card, unless your credit card says that, you don't live in Chicago when you sign up for the Netflix sale, or you get charged, as a Chicago resident with Netflix. I think it's done at the point of sale, not at the point of streaming.
Okay. So if you have a credit
there's no way to mask the fact that, there's no way to mask the fact that you don't live in Chicago with a VPN, with a payment method.
Well, if your card is registered some other state, a lot of people
go register a card in another state. But I think you have to go set up residency somewhere just to get approved. So, if you won't go through all that trouble to avoid paying 30 cents, hey, that's your prerogative, and that's how you want to spend your days. It's an argument against being nickel and dime for doing things that you were already doing. I don't think anyone's going to go extremely out of their way to save themselves the 50 cents out of principle.
Okay. Well, there you go. Happy go lucky in Pennsylvania. Now you have a additional 6% sales tax. Okay.
Let us move on to all right. How about we do this one? And it is no, that's cool, but I don't want to. So McDonald's I've been craving McDonald's for the longest time. I'll say it. We aren't sponsored by them, but something about their Big Mac sauce. It's that perfect blend of unhealthy and crack-like that is just. I can't explain it, but I want one. So, but whenever McDonald's changes their formula, people get outraged. I mean, like I think they switched over to like low salt fries, and like the world shut down for a month.
It's like
they
Coke
switched
and
back to the
Coke.
fries.
They changed the formula for Coke. The world, they to new Coke. They eventually
Right. Yeah, there were riots in the street, and then Coke Classic came out, and there were parades. It's these large corporations. They change their ingredients, and it's something to take note of. So, this is from Popular Science and Mr. Ryan Mandelbaum, and of course, so what are these artificial preservatives that McDonald's is nixing? And in a more health conscious society, where trans fat is a bad word and where artificial preservatives are akin to chemicals, being pumped into your children, what exactly are they doing? So McDonald's announced Monday that it's scrapping the artificial preservatives from its chicken McNuggets. So that definitely wasn't enough info for us. So what are the preservatives and how did they work in the first place? So, of course, preservatives keep foods from oxidizing or going bad, growing bacteria, or going through other natural chemical processes, such as, just kind of degrading as food normally does. It's the reason, all these preservatives are why you find that old chicken nugget underneath your car seat and you pull it out. It's like, wow, I haven't had McDonald's for like a month. Right. And this thing looks like it just came off the shelf.
Right, exactly. Just put it in the microwave, heat it up, and there you are.
Right. Yeah. So, some of these chemicals even prevent food from changing color. So these preservatives are all non-toxic in small quantities, but some folk have concerns about their long-term effects. Hot dogs, for example, contain nitrates and nitrates, which might increase nitrates and nitrites, which might increase the risk of getting cancer. Some evidence, but hey. So the U.S. the U.S. Food and Drug Administration codes don't specifically differentiate between natural and artificial preservatives. Instead, they use the term chemical preservative, defined as any chemical that, when added to food, tends to prevent or retard deterioration. So, except for salt, sugars, vinegar, spices, and oils, and oil extracted from spices. So, substances added to food by direct exposure to wood smoke, or chemicals applied to herbicide and pesticide properties. So essentially, what is considered a preservative can be something as simple as pickling a cucumber would be seen as a preservative for a cucumber.
So what did they find in the thing?
So they found that the chemicals are no longer. They're saying that after some sleuthing, McDonald's spokesperson Becca Harry confirmed and corrected our guesses about the following chemicals that will no longer appear in chicken McNuggets. And so just to read off quick of these, sodium phosphates. So that's good. They're saying that some sodium phosphates happen to make a good anti-constipation drug in much higher doses. So I guess if you were trying to get your medication from chicken McNuggets, it may not be your go-to anymore. They're saying that it was well within the safe limits, but they're saying that some phosphates will still appear in chicken McNugget in the McNuggets breading, as these chemicals aren't preservatives but leavening agents that crunch up the breading, and in the case of sap, protect the color. Okay. So citric acid is also getting the nix.
That's vitamin
that is to change the so it doesn't change color. So that's
vitamin C. That's not bad for you,
right? And TBHQ, or terbutyl hydroquinone.
Whoa.
So, or TBHQ, much easier to say, was cut from the oil that McNuggets were fried in, and they're saying it is an antioxidant, meaning that it too prevents the oil from going rancid. And the FDA regards the chemical as safe in food, but only in very tiny doses. It seems like a lot of, and probably that's the last one. But I just want to say that it seems like a lot of these preservatives that are being taken out seems that nothing like, oh, they were putting rat poison in our food and it was keeping the food from going bad. No, like these things are safe in small doses, but it seems like whatever was labeled as safe in small doses, they're taking out just as a precaution because they're concerned that people are eating too much McDonald's, and even small doses in a few things, when eaten a lot or often, could add up to mild doses, and that's not good.
Okay. All right. So there you go. McDonald's becoming safer and healthier to eat.
Well, I wouldn't say, McDonald's or Chipotle. Have your pick. No, it's McDonald's is always McDonald's, but it's good to see that they're moving in the direction of, let's not kill our customers.
Exactly. All right. This next one, again, we were talking about YouTube and subscription service. Well, evidently, YouTube's, according to Engadget, their subscription service keeps your kids' videos ad-free. That's right. We don't want our kids watching ads, right? Well, now they're talking specifically about YouTube Red, and that they say it's nice that a YouTube Red subscription gives you ad-free and offline viewing, but wouldn't those features be more useful for keeping your kids entertained on your next vacation? And YouTube agrees. So now you can sign into YouTube Red through the YouTube Kids app, giving junior viewers all the benefits without making them visit grown-up apps or sites. They won't see the promos while watching their favorite shows, and they can keep playing when they're stuck in the back of the car for a few hours. Now, if they're music fans, they can switch apps while their tunes play in the background. You probably won't subscribe just for the kids' support, but it's a strong incentive for families to subscribe to something like YouTube's Red service, which has been out now for a while. It's I guess it's doing well. We haven't really heard of any complaints about it, and the fact that they're extending the YouTube Red subscription to give ad-free and offline viewing, so the kids won't get that. I think that's actually a nice feature. So there you go, YouTube Red.
Yep.
Okay, I understand we have a question.
We do.
Okay, so it's
by a gentleman. His he prefers his moniker to be Mr. Research, and he is calling to us from California. And yeah, he said that he had an open-ended tech question about just society and tech, and I figured, hey, doing computer and technology news.
Okay.
Why not some open mic?
Okay, so let's go to Mr. Research, Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi, how are you?
Hey, life is great.
So what can we do for you?
All right, here's a little highbrow question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take that echo off. So I'm former, I've been in computers back in '82. I work in medical now.
Okay.
But here's the weirdness that I see now with tech. I don't see it creating anything sustainable outside of entertainment. Now, 500px does a little bit better because it gives an emotional entertainment that's family and that's somewhat more conducive. But outside of that, we have the brain-numbing entertainment that serves no purpose, where users who come out of some of that brain-numbing entertainment don't have basic understandings of anything. And then by the time they hit 30, 35, and a great gentleman over at Google, he goes around, I can't remember his name, but he goes around teaching tech people about pivoting. When they hit 30, 35, as many of us know, you're an old man in tech if you're not already at an established location.
Okay.
You're almost unhireable, and a taxi cab is your future because there's a lot of tech guys driving taxi cabs now because they can't get jobs. Jobs are normally hiring the next young 17-year-old. So if you look at, and I'm about to ask my question, but if you look at something like your basic grocery store, you created self-checkout in the hope that it would improve life, and you've made it worse. You've gotten rid of workers, made them unemployed or going to another jobs, and now you have longer lines than when you had when they were human. What is tech doing to help nowadays? The farmer, What?
Well, it's interesting because I asked a similar question to Ben. Remember, I said, oh look, it's eliminating jobs, and Ben had a very definitive opinion about this.
Well, I'm not quite sure because we have this conversation a lot actually on the show, pertaining to technology, and it's going forward. Technology is only going to get more disruptive. We have, you're saying, what is technology doing for the farmer? Well, for the farmer, you get things like drones, where instead of having maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people riding around in trucks and checking on their crop on a daily basis. Instead, you have one drone pilot who's going to, take a drone and constantly monitor the crop and look for drought, blight, what have you. And, all of a sudden that's one person with a useful job as opposed to four or 5 people with a useful job. It's, technology is useful in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it's also going to consolidate jobs, I think. What happens when a surgeon, you said you were in the medical field, what happens when a surgeon can perform surgery in the next state over, thanks to robots that are going to be able to kind of mimic his movements, and he can perform surgery sitting at his desk and just doing surgery after surgery after surgery. Why do you need a surgeon in every hospital if you could have one work in multiple states? Technology is doing a lot of good things. There were a lot of part of your of your statement there, saying that, like, one of the things that I kind of latched onto was, people are coming out of this entertainment and they're not coming out with any useful skills. And I agree to some point. I mean, there's a lot of things online that are purely candy for your brain. But there's also a lot of good, technology does a lot of good to teach skills. I recently tried to renovate a house, and I use the word try. Almost everything I did had a video on YouTube that I could kind of follow and kind of do. Like, there's a lot of things about technology. Like, was there anything in particular that you're finding troublesome with technology, or?
Let me address a couple of things that you said.
Well, sure. Mr. We have to be careful because we only have about 3 minutes. We only have about 3 minutes left, so let's just see if we can wrap it up.
Well, let me just say this.
Go for it.
Respectfully, what we do many times in tech, we double talk. Because we are, and that's not to marginalize what you said. It's just that we don't answer the direct question. Your YouTube is the same thing Cybergenics was back in the 80s, before YouTube even existed. You had videos teaching people such and such. So I hear what you're saying, but it's kind of like a spin. I just am very concerned when I see the youth in tech are really not benefiting. And now that coders are slowly starting to become obsolete because there's other levels of coding. I know guys who lost jobs because they don't know that other level of coding. Mm-hmm. So, it's a ridiculous thing. But I just wondered if you guys had any answers. And I do appreciate the answer that you did give.
Yeah.
Because it's a...
Yeah.
And Ms. Research, I mean, honestly, I would really like to answer the question. It's just, I'm kind of having... It's such a broad statement and a lot of things. Like, I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around the question is all. I'm not trying to avoid you.
I'll try to catch you next time at the start of one of your shows.
There you
Absolutely.
go. All right. And Mr. Richards, you have a great rest of the day, and thanks so much. And you keep listening to Computer America, okay? All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Boy, I'll tell you, we get calls, but I wish we get them more toward the beginning of the show or the middle of the show rather than the very end of the show.
Yeah, we hate rushing them off like that, but it's we only have a couple more minutes. But no, please, folks, if you have a question such as that, if we're just doing computer technology news, it really is open phone lines. Please call in. We enjoy topics like that.
Absolutely. I don't know if we have time to do one quick story here. Just real quick, Microsoft gives everyone a chance to buy a HoloLens. Did you not? It'll set you about $3,000, but you can actually, in the past, developers had to apply for a chance to buy Microsoft's augmented reality headset, but evidently, you only have to meet 3 conditions to get one. You have to have a Microsoft account, you have to have an address in the US or Canada, and you can afford the $3,000 price tag.
Well, yeah, but before this, the HoloLens was only open for developers, and you had to pay like $1,500 for a developer's kit.
Yeah.
This time is for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get one. You can get one straight from the Microsoft Store. It's now available. So if you want a Microsoft HoloLens, you can get it now. And all you have to basically is those 3 requirements. So if you're not developing apps for the device, you can always wait a little bit longer to make sure you can afford your rent next month. $3,000. Hey,
next couple months.
Yeah, exactly. But it is available.
Oh, look, you can add up to 5. That's nice.
You can add to 5 what?
You can add up to 5 HoloLenses to your cart.
Wow, exactly. Look at that. He's on the website, right? You can actually buy up to 5 of them like that. They're showing.
Right, and it looks like you are still buying the developer edition. And and again, the thing about this was before they had it for sale for like $1,500 for developers, and like they said the 3 basic requirements for this one is that you have to ship it to the U.S. or Canada, and you have to plop down all the money. But before, the requirements were you had to be affiliated with a studio that was developing content exclusively for the HoloLens. So like you had to prove that you were a developer in some fashion. This one, not so much, available to everyone. That's why it's important.
What do you think it changed? What do you think Microsoft changed their minds?
I think they got it in the hands of enough developers. There's only so many developers out there that are going to leap onto this early. And I think it's time for them to start, getting it in the hands of, more. Like obviously at $3,000, this is going to your, this is going to your Ars Technicas. This is going to your CNETs. This is going to people who aren't developers, but people who still want to cover the technology.
And actually,
$3,000 is not. $3,000 is a
90 seconds.
No,
it's not. For consumer space just yet.
No, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Hey, that about wraps up the show again. Thanks to all of you for listening, and of course, thanks to our first hour guest Andy Yang from 500px, the CEO. Thanks to him. Again, don't forget that in 2 days we're going to have another social media winner. Head over to computeramerica.com and get your entry in right now. You have to do it one time,
seconds,
and you get a chance to win. Coming up on tomorrow's show, we're gonna have Gary Kay, the founder and chief content officer for Tech 50 Plus. And he's got lots of great details on the new Samsung 7. He just came back from the convention that talks about it. He's going to talk about Pokemon Go. Is that truly validate AR? And we're going to talk about Google and Amazon squaring off for smart homes and so much more. That's all coming up tomorrow with Gary Kay. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one, everyone.
Woohoo!
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, thanks to all our Google Hangouts participants. Thanks for being here with us. Again, Gary Kay from Tech 50 Plus is going to be with us here for both hours. It should be a very entertaining program, so we look forward to having him and look forward to having you back with us. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.